Good morning. It is Monday, March 28th, which makes it actually June 26th, which is exciting and horrifying. If you're looking forward to summer, we're 90 days from almost through it, which is not great. We've got Robert here. Jesse Davies is here. He and I will be doing a really cool class that we both adore on Thursday. We'll talk about that in a second. You know what we're not going to talk about? We're not going to talk about the Oscars. That's what we're not going to talk about because it's everywhere. It's everywhere, and it's just the whole thing is just I don't know. But I do want to talk about a movie though, not talk about the Oscars. Has anybody seen The Batman?
No.
Yeah,
I've seen 14 of them. I think I'm good.
Yeah, well, I think it looks so dark and different, and the boys wanted to see it, so we did go see the Batman yesterday, and it's really funny. After being in your house with the snacks that you already paid for and the bathroom right there, and so for me and the two boys, 36 on tickets, and then I don't know, 100 on snacks. Like our first trip when we got there, when we go up to the counter, was like $42, and then they both kept going back. It's a 3-hour movie. And of course we're trying to manage Francis's diabetes. My wife texts me. She's like, did you shoot him? So there we are in the movie theater putting the needle in his ass because that's what we do. And she's like, do you shoot him? I'm like, yeah. She's like, I think you shot too much. It looks like his number's dropping. So I'm sending him back out for popcorn, which he loves. If I overshoot, he has to make it up with the carbs. Right. So,
my God.
Which is also ironic. It's 14 years ago today that we got the diagnosis of his diabetes. So he's been a type 1 diabetic for 14 years. It's if you're a parent and your kids don't have diabetes, I don't recommend it. It's a pleasure. It's been interesting. Other than that, I think if you're a DC or a Marvel kid, and I know Batman's DC, I think you're probably calling it a 10. One of the dorky websites that we look at to check movie ratings said it was a 10. I'd say 8.4. But I think it's because I'm 50 years old and I was into the movie for about $175 after diabetic popcorn. So, that might have taken off some of the shine for me.
Can we do some trivia really quick?
We can do some trivia real quick. Yes, sir.
Do you know what DC stands for?
Not off the top of my head. I do not.
This blew my mind.
What is it?
And you're going to appreciate it.
Wow.
Because the PC coach thing that we talked about.
PC coach, yeah.
Yeah, because people say DC Comics. It's actually Detective Comics.
Detective Comics.
Right.
Yeah, DC Comics is not DC Comics. It's Detective Comics. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yes, we always joke about, and Jesse knows that this drives me crazy because my role as your coach is to help you create efficiencies. And on our national calls, and you hear people say it all the time, we'll be on a national call, and I have to use my Fargo accent when I do this because I feel like everybody on a national call says, so I want to talk to all you PC coaches, and it's that means I'm a productivity coach, which I'm not. Productivity coach, sure, and nobody outside of our ecosystem even knows what that means. And then if you have if you are a productivity coach with a MAPS coach, they're a PC coach. Which is horrifying.
That's a good point.
Moving on.
I need another drink.
It's too early for that, Robert. No judgment. It's not too early. You can have mine. So we want to talk about the schedule for today. Of course, we're here now. You've got Ignite at 9 o'clock. At 11 o'clock, if you are a future or emerging capper, we're meeting together. Future capper is anywhere between 0 and quarter cap. Quarter to full cap is an emerging capper. That's 11 o'clock, Keller TV. Join me for that mastermind. We've got the brokers at 1 o'clock. Jump on with Jason Westcott. That's all in the morning news, which we should remind you, we've been having a little bit of an arm wrestling match. I think Zoe and I were talking, and I was so fried on Friday. I think I called it the monkey mail. It's MailChimp, whatever it is.
Oh, that's close enough.
MailChimp decided that we were, I don't know, we got shut down. We're like, what did we do to get us banned? And it's not summer, so we haven't posted any bikini photos of Nathan yet, but I'm not really sure what got us shut down. Maybe they think that we're sending out, and I think what they probably might do is they're looking at all of our background data, and they can see sent and opened and all that kind of stuff and click-throughs, and maybe they think that we're spamming people. And it's not our intention to spam you. It's our intention to keep you up to date. That's why every day, once a day, we tell all of the peoples what's going on for the rest of the week, the rest of the day, all that kind of stuff. So that should be remedied. We did put up an image of it on Facebook. Robert did send out the PDF that we created So you do have an email from Robert today with the schedule for today and, of course, for the rest of the week. And then above and beyond that, it should be fixed in the next 24 hours. Monkey Mail will be back. I'm very excited about that. What's up?
Just as a side note for everyone, I got a text this morning about 7:15, 7:20, asking if I could put together really quickly a campaign in command to send it out to get it into people's mailboxes right now.
Yep.
Zoe was kind enough to send the PDF over, so the graphic was already done for me.
Yep.
15 minutes later, that email went out to my entire database. Command can do it. And about 3 seconds after I sent it out, my email pinged saying it came through. There's no reason why we can't do things quickly. It's rapid turnaround time, you guys. It can do it. It can handle it. And there's just proof that we can make things happen with command instantly when we need to.
So I appreciate that you brought that up, because when I viewed it, to me, it looks like an email. Yeah. It doesn't look Clunkosaurus Rex like you tried to send it from an aggregator or anything like that. It looks like it's actual communication from your email box, which is awesome. Love that. Appreciate the update on that. So we're working on that. You probably didn't notice anything. If you did, I'm just trying to give you a quick explanation. And then, of course, at 2 o'clock today, we've got the regional call. That's always at 2 o'clock, your opportunity to get some data from Jen Bovey and Brooke Silva. And then above and beyond that, they typically spend the first 15 minutes of that half hour interviewing somebody from the region. And then you've got all the content they give you to send out to your people via email, assuming your monkey mail is working, or your command.
Do that stuff.
What's that?
Those are some smart people that do that.
Yes. So lean into that. And then above and beyond that, if you are struggling with the ones and zeros and need some help with your tech, Robert does have open door lab hours today. That's at 2 o'clock at KWTechTV.com. That being said, why is Jesse up so early? Why is he here? I feel like you're up pretty early. You've got 2 short people, 3 women you report to every day. So what time do you get up typically?
4:30.
Yeah, well, and you've made a massive commitment to be at Ever Proven CrossFit.
That's right. Yeah. So I go at least 4 times a week. Yeah.
And you ran a?
I arrive and ready and warmed up by 5:30.
Didn't you run a contest where you had something going? You talked to the management over there about people spotting you at the gym.
Yeah. So as a lead generation tactic,
this is great, by the way,
and accountability, I met with the. I'm getting feedback, by the way, through someone's speaker.
Oh, all right.
I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if it's the volume or what. Super sensitive. So I met with the owner to do a goal setting session, and he said, "Hey, how many times do you intend to come in the next month?" And I said, "I'm going to come in at least 17 or 18 times." And I said, "If I don't come in 18 times, I'm going to give $1,000 cash over as an accountability." And what ended up happening was I said before the end of the meeting, I said, "You know what? Let's just do the cash either way, and let's do it as like a community building exercise."
Sure.
And so the challenge was every day that I showed up and someone else showed up, they got 2 points. Okay. And, or got 2 entries. And if they took a selfie of themselves at the gym and tagged themselves and said, #where's Jesse?
That's amazing.
They would get extra entries and so on. So we did a bunch of stuff like that. And so we did the giveaway, ended up going 19 times in the month, which was good.
Good for you.
And got a ton of connections, and I didn't realize as a result that I would become quite popular at the gym, right? As people would be like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" And people didn't even realize it ended. They're like, "Hey, you should get like a Where's Waldo shirt." And I was like, that was like a month ago, guys. It's over.
It's awesome though. Well, and you said the added horror of doing that, where people were posting online, "Jesse, I'm headed to the gym," because they wanted to see you at the gym because they got extra points if they were there with you.
That's right. And I think it was within 3 hours of us announcing the accountability measure that one of the ladies at the gym messaged me, and she said, "Hey, I'm committed to being your Eye of Sauron," like knowing
oh my God.
exactly like when and where you're going to the gym and everything. So
that's really
super funny.
That's awesome. So all right, so Thursday, so people understand, is this your favorite class, by the way? Because I think for me, Business Planning Clinic is probably my favorite class to be in and to teach. This is a very close second, if not tied.
I would say favorite to teach. Yeah, for sure.
So we're talking about Quantum Leap. and I will let Jesse explain. So you're a certified QL instructor for Keller Williams Kids Can.
That's correct.
And so now you are licensed to thrill with both the and I mean, how much do the mechanics change? Because obviously I haven't sat in the youth class. Aiden does want to go. Gary's teaching it this summer.
Yeah.
And we were trying to weasel our kids down there. So JV wanted to send Elise. I wanted to send Aiden. Nathan wanted to send Quinlan. None of them are 18 yet. So to go, because we're like, well, what if we go and we're there? And they're like, no, because part of the experience is they're going hotel room. It's almost like a camp, right? So not just yet. Aiden can do it next summer, but I definitely want him to be part of this experience because Gary teaching it. I've seen Gary do it once. I've seen Dillingham do it a handful of times. The great Gene Rivers. Just do it, stupid. Like the great, one of the greatest instructors we have at Keller Williams. Talk to us about Quantum Leap and like the mindset behind it and why Gary put this class together.
Okay, so what I think is important is there are three things that we'd like to go over or review in regard to structure, and then really there's a purpose behind all that. So the three things are addressing mindset, having a powerful mindset, understanding proven models for success. It's very broad scope. And then ultimately how to get what you desire out of life. And really what this comes down to is that one of the first questions we will ask, and it's okay to spoil it a little bit for you, is whose life are you living and how do you know? Right?
Yeah.
And one of the principles behind that is there's a story that Gary tells of a boy that wakes up early to talk with his dad, and his dad's reading the newspaper, and the dad's kind of like wanted to distract his son, so he takes this picture of a globe and he tears the globe up and he says to the son, like, hey, here's a puzzle for you, put it together, and when you're done we can go out and play. So the dad goes back to reading, and a couple minutes later the son comes back, Dad, I'm done. And he's like, how on earth did my kid do that? And so he goes in and sees it's put together properly, and he says, son, how'd you do it? He's like, well, a piece fell on the ground and I saw it was a part of a man's face. So I flipped it over, and when I put the man's face together, the world came into place, right? When I put the man together, the world fell into place. And really the intent of Quantum Leap is really the aspect of, who we are, who we're becoming, and really affecting us at literally the quantum level, right? We think quantum means huge. Yeah, it means quantum mechanics, think quantum computing. Quantum Leap is that little step, and I would say for anyone that's seeking clarity, for anyone that's seeking purpose, or dare I say even an excuse to make a change in their life, it's sponsored. You can make a donation. We appreciate donations that goes towards scholarships. So it is on us, and we're giving a day of our time to share with you some very insightful things.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal class. I would argue that this is the one that if you're and I think a lot of the stuff we do here is about mindset and about the person, right? Because we want you guys to build businesses and legacies. And I think when you walk into our buildings and you see God Family Business, we're just wired differently here. But I think this is a class that he put together that is clearly sets us apart, sets the company apart, sets him apart as a founder and an owner and a realtor, as he always says. When on the back of his gravestone, it's going to say realtor, right? Because one of the funny things that people always poke fun at is Gary wrote this book, Tim, and it's called The One Thing, yet he's got a million things. But he's got a million people for a million things, because he'll argue that his one thing is to keep us central in the transaction and defend our right to be realtors and what we want to do. So,
that's right. I think, and people need to realize too that this is not a class strictly for real estate agents, right? This is like, if you're out there talking to people that, whether they're in business or not, whether they're in college or not, whether they're struggling with whatever, like, to bring simplicity and clarity into someone's life about who they are, what they're doing, how they can do it, right? Following those success principles can totally be transformative. So we would encourage, for you to be attentive for yourself, but also consider the gift of bringing someone along for the journey.
And I think one of the charts that we're going to go over on Thursday that I found like fascinating, because it doesn't dawn on you until you're having this conversation, is that mindset from birth to education to work to play to the grave, right? And we have these massive life quadrants where we're like, okay, I'm going to be in each one of these boxes for a set period of time. And Gary, questions, why can't we do that every day? Are you breaking this up every day? Are you learning every day? Are you working every day? Are you playing every day? And are you giving yourself the time to do that? When you think, okay, in 24 hours, 8 of those asleep, maybe as a realtor, maybe 8 hours of sleep.
Right.
How do you possibly squeeze all that in? And we'll talk more about that too.
Yeah. Well, it's the thing is, it even talks about in the beginning of The Millionaire Real Estate Agent is success leaves clues, right? Yep. There's modeling and there's all these different things. And so, we want to be specific enough to bring people clarity and be able to be actionable. And also broad enough that it's not hyper specific just to real estate, that we will use some real estate examples throughout the day. Yeah. So I love that. Yeah.
There's a question in the chat asking if we are going to have it recorded, and I do not believe that's the case. Or is it recorded?
So the recording will be provided to people that register and attend.
Okay.
So that is the intention. It will not be something that we disseminate to the world. Yeah.
Yeah, because the intention behind that too is the classroom is a safe space. So if somebody's going to share,
that's right,
and have that conversation, we're going to reserve that to the people that are in the room. Much like the bold room is a sacred space, because if people want to talk and be transparent and be emotional or whatever the case may be, we sort of want that to be a safe space. So I guess the quick answer is, if you register and attend, you'll have access to the video. We will not be, because this is a KW Kids Can thing. We will not be simulcasting this over to our Facebook page and over to our YouTube page. So the registration, which we can throw into the liner notes, certainly on Facebook, so you guys have it. And you'll see it too. It's in the news. When Monkey Mail gets working, scroll down, click the link, as Jesse said. Absolutely want everybody in the room who wants to be in the room. If you feel the need or desire to make a donation, that's remarkably welcomed for sure, because this all does go to benefit KW Kids Can, which is Gary's initiative to make sure the Utes, as they would say, are getting edumacated. And I think, too, keep your eye on the calendar. If you do have somebody 18 plus, Gary is doing a special session in Austin, which if you're going to head down and make the trip with them, for sure. But I do know, based on our understanding of conversations we had at Family Reunion, it's going to be very camp style. So you taking an underage kid is not going to do it. They have to be 18 plus to register for that experience. And I know we'll have stuff like that coming back this way too. This particular version is going to be for adults, but the other version for the youth is 18 to 24 is the window, I think, Jesse, correct?
Yeah, and really, I mean, even for this session, we would encourage anyone 18 or older to attend. Yeah, we could have a specific one for younger folks that feel like they want a comfortable space for them.
Sure. Yeah, so if you want to, we're not going to say this, if you want to play hooky on Thursday and tell your school system, I'm going to go hang out with Jesse Davies, that bears no weight, and we're not writing notes, so don't do that. But in the future, if you want to join us, that would be great. That's awesome.
That's good.
All right, final thoughts, Jesse, before, if somebody's thinking about it, they're on the fence about clicking the link.
Yeah.
When did you first take it, and what did it change for you, I guess, is the question.
So I remember being at Family Reunion. It was the first one I'd attended. I hadn't even been in real estate a full year. And Gene Rivers was sharing a 3-hour condensed version. And he shared something that has stuck with me to this day. And it's one of those things I'm like, okay, I'm going to think about it. And even as a high D, not going to cry, right? I'm not going to get emotional.
Yeah.
Or I'll attempt it not to. However, if I'm alone, I'll let the tears flow. He talked about a story of really, by going through Quantum Leap was the thing that changed his life, that brought him into the business world and to build what he ended up building. And when his dad was passing away, so this is Gene Rivers' dad, was passing away, his dad said to him, "Son, thank you for living your life and building what you've built, because I know you're going to be able to take care of your mother, his wife."
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
I know you're going to be able to do that when I'm gone. And what Gene really said in that moment was, we need to live our best life. And that doesn't mean big. That doesn't mean gaudy. It doesn't mean any of these things automatically. But we need to live up to our potential for decisions we don't know we have to make yet. And I would say to the person listening now is if you feel you need to make a change, and I'm sensing that you feel like you do, you can use this as an excuse and a catalyst, right? You can say, hey, I changed my mind because I went to a class. You can change your mind anytime, by the way. You have that permission. You can make new decisions starting at any moment. However, you can, or in addition, you can use this as an opportunity to be inspired and to take some serious action. So
I love that you said, we can change our mind anytime. There was a great show on Showtime. Obviously not great enough for me to remember the title, but Benedict Cumberbatch was in it. And during the miniseries, he and his wife split, and he's living in an apartment. And the very last scene of the whole thing, his kids are the family, and his kids are like back in his apartment, and they've reconciled, and he's going back home. And the kid says to his dad, he goes, "I'm glad you're coming home," and the father said, he goes, "Some things happened that helped me change my mind," and the son turns to the father. It's like the last line of the show, and he goes, "That's good. That's what it's for." Like our mind is developed to be always changing, right, and just always growing and creating new thoughts. And this class is phenomenal. So a huge opportunity to, I believe, 8:30 to 3 o'clock. So we'll have you out in time for you to catch your bus. But 8:30 to 3 o'clock, I think we'll take about a 20-minute break at noon. Digital only for this, but obviously we'll deliver this again sometime in the future. I'm sure Jesse can clear his dance card so we can do this in person at some point, and maybe another group for varied ages as well. But we appreciate your time today, Jesse. Thanks for hanging out. We look forward to seeing everybody on Thursday. That's an 8:30 start on Thursday. You'll see the link in the news. Robert is landing planes now. Did you determine that you might have been the feedback? He might have been the feedback.
I just wanted to make sure I wasn't.
We don't know what's happening. And we did a good job. We didn't talk about Will Smith and Chris Rock. I'm very proud of us. I'm very proud of us. No comments.
Hey,
we're good.
All right, guys. Two planes heading for each other. I got to go.
Oh, my God. You got to flag them, man. Thank you, Jesse. We'll see everybody soon. Have a great day. If you're looking for help with your marketing, it is Time with Babs, BABS, timewithbabs.com. If you need Robert's help, don't forget 2 o'clock today, open door lab hours at KW Tech TV, or timewithrobert.com. If you're looking for Jason, it's only Jason today. JV's very busy, and she's off. Only Jason today at 603-234-2589. And if you need my face, it's meetwithcoach.com or 603-834-2856. We'll see you for Quantum Leap, 8:30 Thursday with the illustrious Jesse Davies. See you, bud.